All right, so welcome our feature Friday this week. We have Syeetah Hampton-El. Class, what class are you in?
2001.
Yeah, you're the babies behind us.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, don't do that. Don't try to play me.
All right. Well,
Y'all looked
I'm
out for
not.
y'all looked out for us though, so it's all right.
All right. So, you're a pretty big deal. You're an administrative law judge for the Office of Administrating Hearings in Maryland. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, congrats. Well, tell us because everybody doesn't know you. Tell us, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, things of that sort.
Okay. Syeetah Hampton-El. I class of 2001. I was active on campus in just about everything, mostly yearbook and pre-alumni council and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Gamma Delta chapter. And since then, I went to law school. I practiced for a little bit, and then I became an administrative law judge, and I've been doing that for 2 years. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised half my life there, and the other half on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Culture shock, totally. That's about it, I guess. That's it. I'm still active in all the stuff I was involved in school. I'm still active now. So
Okay, nice, nice. And so you're actually the president of the Baltimore chapter, right?
I am. I am.
Good. And how did you get involved the Alumni Association and tell us a little bit about that.
I went to a sorority meeting, and the other soror in my graduate chapter from Gamma Delta from 60, oh man, Sir Delano, I think is 65, 66, something like that. Anyway, I was introduced to her, and she told me that I was coming to the Alumni Association meeting, and she told me that I was buying a ticket for the choir's performance that was coming, and I said yes, ma'am, and there we are. And then when there was an opening for treasurer, the soror that was the treasurer told me that I was going to run for treasurer, and I said okay, and here we are, years
So
later, still
so
active.
they still gangsters. So are the young ladies still as gangsters, old school Gamma Delta GD?
Oh, old school Gamma Delta.
Oh, I
Hey,
know old school. I know old school is I know old school.
nil, nil, nil. Okay. I was told. I did what I was told. I
Understood.
listened well, and I said, "All right, yes, ma'am."
It's,
And there
it's,
was.
and that's the deference. Hopefully, the young kids get it. That's the deference. Well, tell us a little bit about your career path. What type of law were you studying originally, and then how'd you end up in your current position?
Okay. So at Smith, I was a poli sci major, pre law minor. And I knew since fifth or sixth grade I wanted to be a lawyer. Actually, I wanted to be a judge, and my mother was like, "So you got to go to law school first? How does that work?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, valid, good point. Just can't go from college, I guess, to being a judge.
Get
Fine."
hopped in there.
Yeah, so that was the plan. So I graduated from Thomas M. Cooley in Lansing, Michigan. Moved to Salisbury on the Eastern Shore with my godparents. Did an externship with the public defender's office. Came to Baltimore, became a judicial law clerk for the district court. Applied to be an assistant state's attorney. Practiced as a prosecutor in Baltimore City for almost 8 years. Left that, represented tenants for about a year and a half, 2 years, then became the director of government affairs for a trade association representing property owners.
Huh?
Did that for about a year and a half, I guess, and then became an administrative law judge. And I've been doing this for 2 years.
Goodness gracious. See, let me tell you, that's the entire reason we put this network together. You over here, although you're in Baltimore, you're all intertwined in real estate. And I'm over here just 35 miles around, don't have no idea that that's what you're doing and have people who are doing work up there in Baltimore. So that's exactly why we put together this professional. I knew you were in the legal field, but I had no idea you were intertwined in the real estate aspects of
I've done a little bit of everything. So I've been on the tenant side, I've been on the property owner side. I ended my tenant property owner real estate stuff on the property owner side.
it. Okay.
So,
Yeah, so that and that's very interesting. I'm involved in DC, especially in the inner cities. It gets emotional and
yes,
it's pretty interesting on both sides of the fence
yes, yes.
related to that.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
Yeah, I know that. So, what kind of challenges have you encountered in your career for someone like who's coming up behind you, young attorneys, possibly looking to be in the same position? What are some of the challenges you've had to encounter, had to overcome, things of that sort?
Mostly just people underestimating me. I mean, a girl, Syeetah Hampton-El, with natural hair, locks, not really the look of what an attorney is supposed to look like. Supposed to, I use that term very loosely. Same with a judge. So I get a lot of, "Are you really the judge that's making the decision for my case?" I am. I am. It's only me, no one else here. When I was a prosecutor, I got well, are you the prosecutor that's handling the case? Yeah, I'm the only person here. I'm in. I'm in. I'm showing up at your house to talk to my victims. I'm showing up at the police station to get my files. I'm in. And so that's being prepared for that and laughing it off. At first, I took it very personally. And I think with experience, age, more work experience, more work networking and relationship building, I realized, oh, okay, it's just what it is. I don't fit the stereotype. And so I can show you better than I can tell you. I can show you that I'm the person that's in control in this hearing room today, and I'm gonna make this decision today. Better than I can tell you, because clearly you're not listening. So, some things don't change. I'm still who I am. I'm still just this girl from New York, and I'm gonna have the attitude that I'm gonna have. But I laugh about it now. And I think that's something that I kind of wish I would have started doing a little earlier, when I was much younger.
Now let's pick that up, because I'm gonna tell you, it was interesting. My business has exploded the last 2 years. And my wife was explaining to someone. She said, "What's been the change?" And my wife was sitting back. She was like, "He doesn't code switch anymore. He's just straight, authentic, like Rick Ross, I'm the boss coming at you. He just doesn't absolutely care what you personally think about him." And it sounds like, in hearing yours, like it took me darn near 18 years to figure that out. Like, once again, in my younger 20s, I had this chip on my shoulder. I come from HBCU. I'm angry. I'm like, whatever. So what guidance would you give to the young kids? Because this is something I'm having this conversation with younger millennials about, that because they're going through it, and I'm trying to accelerate that curve. If I learned that earlier, man, I could have turned a lot faster.
Be yourself.
You get? Okay.
Yeah, be yourself. I mean, in
and all understanding that everybody's not going to get it, like that.
Yeah, but they're not going to get it, and that's okay. But be yourself, because there are people, more people will get it, and more people will appreciate it. So as a prosecutor, I could talk to my male shooting victims and really have a real conversation on the poor girl from Brooklyn from the projects. Like, I could have that conversation, and they got it. It was like, "Oh, you're not like everybody else." Nah, I'm really not. The suit, it'll fool you, but I'm really not. And we could have that conversation, and I can meet you there. With my tenants, when I represented tenants, I had a guy who he was being evicted, and we fought as hard as we could to try to keep him in the property, and it didn't work. And he was crushed, and he's a father. His kid is like maybe 10 or 11. And he's like, "I don't know how I'm going to go home and explain this to her." And I said, "I'll tell you, as a woman, as a girl who was evicted with her mother, it'll make her stronger, because she'll see that you'll survive. And that home isn't where you live physically. Home is where your family is. So as long as she has you and her mother and whomever else, she's going to be okay. She'll survive, and it'll make her stronger. And she'll learn from this experience on things that she wants to do in the future or doesn't want to do in the future." Same with my property owner. Same thing. It's like, you have to change the perspective. So I don't have to code switch. I'm going to be Syeetah. Syeetah's going to be Syeetah and been Syeetah from whenever to now. But even in my hearings, I'm going to give you that real conversation. I'm going to check you, lawyer, when you've gone too far, because I've been the lawyer that's gone too far. So I get it. I know when you're being disrespectful. I know what you're doing, and I'm going to say something about it, because I need to make a record, but I need to let you know that you're not going to do that to me either.
Okay. Nice. In terms of people trying to fill your shoes right now, what advice would you give them, like especially the younger people coming up through the ranks, to make sure they get into the position that they would? Just a couple of tidbits on what some young alumni, maybe somebody graduating in this awful economy that we have. What tips would you give to the young alumni?
Network. Reach out. don't be afraid. You know, Neil, you know this from being active in school and being active since with the Alumni Association. Networking is the way. Before it was just show up at an event and talk to somebody, and now that's how you meet people. That's how you get that next step. Every job I've had, it's because someone that I met along the way was like, you know, Syeetah, you should apply for. Not because they were going to give me the job, not because they had any pull in getting me the job. It was, you should apply. You should look into. Have you thought about the next step? What do you want to do? Verbalize what it is that you want to do and own it. So I knew from 5th grade I wanted to be a judge. I just had to take the steps and the obstacles and the hurdles and things in between to get there. And setbacks don't learn from the setback. There's a lesson in everything. Every experience that I've had, negative and positive, I've learned from it. And I remember in particular the negative experiences. The law school's hard. Law school ain't no joke. It's hard, but reach out. You know, I talk to students all the time. I talk to college students. I talk to students from Smith. I talk to students locally here in the Baltimore area. I'm involved in a bar associations, and always trying to help the next, because somebody did it for me. It was like, come on, you're going to go. You're going to do this. You're going to be a part of this. I'm going to introduce you to this person that's going to help you along the way to do whatever it is you want to do.
So naturally, you don't mind being on the Professional Alumni Network's resource list to make sure that folks could reach out to you.
Happily, not a problem. Don't ask me for legal advice.
All right.
I don't give legal advice anymore. Them days over.
I understand. Well, that's it for me. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty. And that was real. And hopefully, you know, some people may not like the informalities. You know, this is how we rolled back in the day, and
what it is,
how we got it on in class and everything else. So I appreciate it so much, and we'll definitely make sure to get as many folks as possible sent up to Baltimore to get registered and come to really take advantage of this network that we have. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Later.